What's up guys, it's Jay and welcome back to Kid 50. Now this week we are going to be delving into some of the pictures that we took while we were on the tour. Now I do apologize, we didn't get to film anything because the tour guides were very strict, but we had to respect that obviously, and some of these buildings were not the safest to go into. So we took a lot of pictures and today we're going to be going through them with you guys. So let's get right into the first one. The first picture that we have is of the, oh no, we actually did get some video footage of this. It was in the main hallway in the Kirkbride building, and they have this large mural up, and it was painted in the time period where patients were still allowed to be in the buildings. Now, it was painted by the patients. We don't know which patient or when or any specific details like that, but we do know that it's a really cool looking picture. So the picture that you guys just saw up on the screen is of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, like I said, we don't know who painted this or what their reasoning was behind it, unfortunately. But what we do know is that it was painted by one of the people in the mental hospital. So along with this piece, there were other pieces of artwork recovered from the renovation. So these dwarves are still, like, they have some of the same facial features and some of the same characteristics of the Seven Dwarves, but they don't quite match up. Now, if you look down, the fourth dwarf, who we thought was either sneezy or bashful, we couldn't really tell, is strangling a bird. It's strangling a bird, and we don't actually know why, because in the original story I don't remember them strangling birds. It's just so weird. The dwarf in the blue at the very end, who is pointing up at the owl, we think is Doc, but it seems to be missing his glasses. Now it looks like on the sides of his face there are two lines on either side, so it looks like they were going to paint glasses on him at some point, but I guess they just never got around to doing it. So you got Doc and the owl up in the tree, and he's pointing over here at something. We don't know what. So it's kind of difficult to say what is really going on in this picture, but yeah, she's like, the Illuminati. I don't know. It's really weird, and when you walk past it in the main hall, it's one of the first most colorful things that you see when you enter, but it doesn't really strike you as something off until you really get in depth with it and you're like, oh, what am I looking at here? What? Because it's weird. I'm refraining from saying crazy. Look at me. So, the next picture that we have up is when we left Building 50 on the tour. So here's Building 50, and here is the grounds next to it. So we left Building 50 and started walking towards the other cottages. And one of the cottages there was the old men's ward that was kept for men who were a little more hostile and a little less friendly. So this specific ward was not the one that we got to go into, but we had been on it previously on a different tour. But in this specific photo that we took here, we were next to the men's ward, and you got the corner piece of the building coming together, and right there in the corner is this giant, may I say, orb. I don't know how it got there. There was nothing on the camera lens. It was just there. It was just in that one picture right in the middle of the screen. The next picture that we have up is one that Jen caught on her phone. So in this one, you can kind of see like the sunlight coming down from the sides, and you can see the building that I had just taken a picture of like a couple of seconds before with my camera. She had snapped a picture of the same exact building in the same exact position, and there was nothing there. men's ward. So when we were coming across the men's ward where the two buildings meet up, Jen caught another picture, and in this one, I gotta say, this one's pretty creepy too. So there's the one building, and the sunlight is coming down at us, and it's not hitting either of the buildings. But what you can see in it is this large burst of light from in between the two buildings. She says that there isn't anything in it, like, besides the light, but I see something. I see an outline of a thing. I don't really know what it is. Obviously not, because yeah, we didn't actually get to see any of these until we got home. So I didn't actually get to go over there and like investigate it further. But if you look closer in the picture where the light is hitting it, you'll see the side of a railing coming off. And in the railing, you can see this dark figure. It almost looks like a dress. It has like a collar on it, and it's got these two arms that are like reaching out. And I don't know. The one men's building that we went into and got to go through was the unrenovated building that you can see the orb in between the sides of it. So there's a couple of pictures of us entering the building and just taking in the old smells. Yeah, and unrenovatedness. I don't think that's a word, but well, it's a word now. So while we were going through this hall, the rest of the group, because we weren't alone, no, I'm not going in there by myself. No. So we went with a group, anyway. So we went with a group, and the group kind of shuffled ahead of us, and you know, I stayed behind because I'm a rebel. So we got to go down the hallway, and when we got to the end of it, everyone was already ahead. So I lagged behind and decided to take a couple of pictures of the hallway. So this was before we got to the basement, by the way. This is not the basement. This is the upstairs after we just walked in. So when we got to this one particular area of the hallway, there were these 3 rooms that lined up. And I thought it was kind of pretty, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll snap a pic. Well, look at this. It's cute. It's gonna be great. So I took the picture and continued on my way, and did not realize that I had caught some weird stuff in it that I, you know, kind of regret taking now, because, you know, looking at pictures and finding stuff like this is not fun. But you know what? We gotta make a video somehow, so... You can see in the first room, the floor of the room looks, it looks like a floor, because it's a floor. But this isn't just any floor. The floor on, like, closest to where the door is at has a shadow on it. And, disclaimer, there were no doors on these hinges. There were no doors, there were no abstract entities in the rooms. It was me being the last one and deciding to take a cool picture. There was no one else in the rooms, there was no furniture, everything had been removed or stolen, or I don't know. In this picture, you can see the outline of a face and the front of a person in this room. Just a couple of minutes after, I believe, Jen turned to me and told me that, you know, it was feeling a little chilly in there, and I was like, oh dang, it is. And now we head down into the basement. Yay. The first picture that we have here is of the 666 room. Fun, I know, it sounds amazing. I just, hands down to the person who named this. You really know what you're doing in life. You really know what you're doing. So the 666 room is this room in the basement that is covered in pinkish reddish spray paint. I hope it's spray paint. I really hope that's spray paint. I didn't check. I'm not gonna go licking the walls, but I just hope it was spray paint. So when you first enter the room, it's a very small room and there were no lights on. Obviously, there's no power in the building. But when you first enter the room, there's a big 666 painted on the brick. And then the further that you go in is a pentagram on the wall. And I don't know, I thought it was very welcoming. I felt very at home. It was very humbling going in there, and I just I really appreciated it. I felt very, very happy. It just made my soul feel so much lighter. I just loved it so much. I just want to know who does this. Like, who goes into a random place and is just like, oh, well, you know, I feel like I should just paint a pentagram on the wall and then, you know, add a couple of 666s and just, you know, have a great time. And so while we were in this room taking pictures of someone's lovely artwork, thank you for that, we caught some entities, question mark? I don't really know. So there's the 666 on the side of the wall, but also in the picture you can see two streaks of stuff going through the picture. There were no bugs in there. There were no bugs. The air was very, surprisingly, not that like thick or dusty. It was very settled. So this is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Like, I don't know what kind of levels of creepy you have to be on to be this creepy. So the tours continued through the basement. Now the basement is this long hallway. So we wandered through the hallway, and when we got to the end, everyone stopped and then we went out. Now when we came this way, entering this hallway, there was nothing there. So we kept walking through it, because, you know, there's nothing there. There's nothing to stop you from walking straight into the hallway. And I turned around, oh my god, and I took a picture, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be artsy about this. It looks great, so I'm just gonna snap a couple of pics, and I did, and I continued on with my life, because, yeah. So we continued walking down the hallway, and the further that we got, I turned around at the end, me being the rebel that I am, and deciding to go off on my own. And took another picture. So in the first picture of the hallway, you can see that there is obviously a rope tied to one of the bars on the ceiling. Like it's something you could have walked into and not been like, oh, it's a spider web. You know, it's a rope, and it's hanging directly in the middle of the hallway, like where people were walking, where I had been walking, in the middle of the hallway, and it's coiled up on the floor and it's tied. It's not like a wire or anything, it was tied. And I didn't really realize anything was different about the pictures until I got home and looked at the pictures. And so we zoomed up on this picture, and as you can see, there's no rope. These pictures were taken like there was no rope. There was no rope. Rope was gone. Rope left the building, apparently, or something. I don't know. So we came out from the men's ward and walked across the street to the tunnels, the underground steam tunnels. Now these were not only used to ventilate and pump warm steam into the buildings, but it was also used to wheel some of the patients down to get them from building to building. What? Like, who thought that? Who was like, okay, well, you know what? You, my buddy Bob over here in the wheelchair, I'm just gonna take him down through the steam vents a little while to get him over to surgery. You know, it'll be great. It'll be a great time. It'll be really warm and dark and moldy and musty, but we'll be great. It'll be great. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll play cards on the way. I don't know who thought that and was like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. That's really sanitary and great to do to a person. So they took us into these steam tunnels, and while we were walking through the rooms, heading there was this large open area, and it was filled with pipes. So the area, there's this large column that comes down, and I think there was like 2 or 3 of them that were like holding up the actual ground. And the first thing you can see is a giant devil face on the column. But then, seeing the smiley little devil dude, just chilling on there, you go to the, a little bit to the other side of the column, and you realize he's not really friendly, because there's another pentagram. There's another pentagram. I don't know what it is. It's not like they were like devil worshippers here or anything. People just have like this hobby of painting pentagrams on everything they find. Dude, you know, this column looks so chill. I'm gonna draw a cute little devil person on it, and then I'm gonna put a pentagram next to it, because why not? We came out the other end of it, and there was the actual steam tunnels. Now the bricks had been laid in the 1800s, which was around the same time period that the buildings were built, and building 50 especially was built. Now they haven't been renovated. Like, this place has held up for like almost 100+ years, and it's still there, obviously, or else they wouldn't let you take tours down it. But the tunnel systems run from the main electrical building to all of the other buildings, not just building 50, but all of the cottages. And let me remind you that at one point there were 80 buildings on the premises. 80 buildings that had to be heated using these tunnels. Now, some of the tunnels had been purposefully caved in so that people and vandals, like our special satanic pentagram jars, couldn't get into the tunnels and vandalize any more than they already had. So these tunnels, some of them had been caved in, but certain ones that were in very good condition and wouldn't like kill you if you walk through them have been opened to the tours for people to go in and take pictures. Well, one of the things that they do is they turn off all of the lights in the tunnel. So my camera was acting up a lot and not focusing on the background in some of the pictures, and I couldn't tell why. It wasn't focusing on the background, it wasn't catching anything, and the flash wasn't even working on my camera. And I was like, what the heck, this is a new camera, it's not supposed to be doing stuff. It's not supposed to be messing up. And when we went through it, we were like, okay, well, there's nothing in these, until we zoomed up, and guess what? Oh no, there were orbs. And my camera had not been focusing on the background, but instead on the orbs floating through the air. And now we're getting to my favorite picture. Oh my god. I can't express how genuinely terrified I was when I looked at this. So this is one of Jen's pictures taken off of her cell phone of me, unfortunately. So the picture at first looks very blurry. Oh my god. I hate this one so much. I hate this one so much. And as you can tell, I was moving when she took the picture. But if you look at my camera, that was not working and was not taking pictures, and the screen was completely dark when I opened the viewfinder. Jen took a picture of my camera and me holding it, only to discover that there's a giant white thing on the camera, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And it looks so messed up. I can't explain. Like, there's, it looks like this. Like, kind of like this. You know, like, it's just... I don't know. That one just really got me. And then she turns it to the close-up one so I could just see the, yep. Thank you so much. I love that so much. And I think I'm gonna make that my background. So if you guys like those pictures, then, you know, have fun with your own nightmares, because I'm not going to be dealing with them tonight. No. I'm going to sit down with some Care Bears and we're going to have a great night. Yeah. I'm going to do everything in my power to get that out of my head. But no, honestly, if you guys like those pictures, thank you so much. We put a lot of effort into not screaming while going through there, and gathering the weirdest stuff for you guys to look at. So, yay! I'm not gonna sleep tonight. What am I doing with my life? Alright guys, if you like this video, please give a gentle tap to the like button and make sure to subscribe for new videos every single Friday. Next week, I am going to be posting some very interesting footage since we are going on another adventure. Now, this place may not be as fun. Anyways, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on Monday? Monday and Friday and the Monday after that. Yeah. Bye!